Hello everyone, this is Mr. Simple Majority with an apology. I want to apologize about the comment that I made. I was under a set of guidelines, I guess, or just old school way of building. Over here is my reactor design that I've always used right there. The reason I like it is that we can actually access all the faces of the reactor at one time. So if I wanted to put my pipe, my electrical pipe, or my cable out through this side instead of the top, or from the bottom, I can do that. It gives me the freedom because it's right up on it. The thing with that design was that because it's so big and bulky, you only get the top and bottom to work with, which is not very much. But as we can see by looking at my reactor controls, my reactor, which is on the right, is actually burning a little hotter than the one on the left. Both are running on the same exact sign, which is near infinite cycle. We can get a little more in deep look at the reactor, at my reactor at least, by turning on the program monitor right dash reactor. There we go. It gets a little more in depth where we can see the reactor cells are at 99.2, our coolant cells are at 99.2, heat dispensers at 99.2. Reactor plating, where it says NaN for non-programmers, that means not a number because there's no reactive plating. Ice and water, 0. Because I'm not using suck. It's not near, excuse me, it's not near any EU storage, so that's not reporting. And it's showing me how much fuel it has left before it depletes. Now, I do want to show you the reactor design. This is a solid Mark II design. I think it's a little simpler. You can see the temperatures aren't really that hot. I'll move my mouse out of the way here so you can see it. I'm going to put the link to this design in the forums, and I do not claim credit to this design. It was actually designed by someone else, as well as I'll also include links to Industrial Craft 2's website, forums, and the nuclear engineering section, so that you guys can take a look and can tap into the knowledge of the other people in the forums. So, you see it's a very simple design, no reactor plating. I just use integrated heat dispensers at coolant cells, plus 3 uranium. And it does a very efficient job. And I mean, really, this is between the two. I'm a little surprised mine's burning hotter, but I was under the notion that it runs off water source blocks, and they had to be right next to the reactor for them to work. Therefore, that's how I've always built it. And I mean, it's really not that big of a difference. It's an 8-degree change between the two reactors. So, I don't know if I'd necessarily go to that design for it. In 8 degrees, it's not going to make or break a design, especially at that level. Where would matter is in really big designs like 1800 EU designs. That I can actually see having more water cells in the area to cool the reactor down. But even then, you can only run that reactor for a minute. The other thing I want to touch base on just real quick before I end this video, the Technic Pack, which is where the Lord Tack 1, I think is his name, and I do apologize if I'm getting that wrong. It's really late here, I do apologize. Lord Tack 1, yeah. Place I got this video from, or the Technic Pack, I'm sorry, that's what he was using, is a great place, I guess, for new players who are just getting into modding, new Minecraft players or old players who are wanting to expand their horizons. But there are mods that that are not in Technic, that are out there that are really amazing. For example, forestry, which adds automated farming. The Aether mod, which is finally back. I'll put a link to it for anybody who wants it. What else? My goodness. Minechem. Adding chemistry to the game, you can actually make your own custom chemical formulas. You can make a chemical formula for oil and put it back into the game. What else? Goodness gracious, there's so many different mods out there. I'm just going off the ones I have. There's some forestry, archaeology, and dinosaurs in the game. It'd be extra bees for forestry. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of different mods out there, and that's what I'm getting at. There's just a whole range of wonderful mods. And being limiting your, if you go into a pack, the problem is the pack is specifically designed for the pack. You can't step out and do your own thing with it. You have to use the back. We're running about 8 degree difference. Um, it's really hard to add stuff into a pack. The best way to do it is actually get the mods yourself and put them in yourself, and then use an add-on like ID Resolver with Charrose's 4096 ID fix. And this will open the door up for a lot more mods. And with ID Resolver, you can actually correct your mods. So, or keep your mods in line so they don't overlap and you don't get conflicting ID issues. I don't want to go there. It took forever to fix it. But I do want to apologize to Lord Tech 1 and to the people that I may have offended. As I said, I was under the notion that this is how you're supposed to build your reactors. Everybody I know, everybody I've ever known, always builds them in the same fashion. And I was not aware that using this design was actually a little bit cooler. I mean, it's not very noticeable. In the grand scheme of things, this might save a hundredth of a second in a suck design, or maybe a tenth of a second. It's still going to overheat quick. It doesn't matter 8 degrees or 8 degrees or 5 degrees. It's going to overheat fast. So, but I do want to apologize that it was, I guess, a little fast and brash, and I wasn't mad at anybody that day. It just, I saw the design. I was like, oh my god, what is this dude doing? They just like, wait a minute, where's all those side accesses? I mean, that design there, yeah, a little hotter, but it's going to give you more control in design configurations. You also don't have to use all reinforced iron or reinforced stone. You can also use this. Where's this at? Once again, too many mods. Here it is, reinforced glass. And the bonus to it is just it gives you a shiny look. Now, the only other thing I did want to talk about, and I gotta get off of this before I wake somebody up here. He was talking about 4 deep. That does not mean building a wall like this and then having your corner like this, okay? What they mean by that is you come out 4 deep like this, and then you build your walls go like this essentially. Wow. There we go. Okay, and this is what's going to absorb your impact. If you do that right around your reactor, it's not going to look good. It's going to be really hard to get into it to make any adjustments. What I do in my world is, this is my reactor room right here. Wait, there, that's my reactor. And then around the reactor chamber, I build the containment walls. And I build those 4 deep. And usually underground. And then what that gives me is a nice area. It's thick. I have a door here so I can walk into the reactor chambers when I need to and walk back out. I have my control panels, not these. I've actually been using this. This is relatively new to me and I'm in love with it. So that is definitely going into my base. I use this though, and I watch my reactor. I'm working on a program right now that will actually combine my 4 different reactors together. It'll monitor temperature. When the temperature of this reactor gets to a certain level, usually I cut off at 12,000 because it's 1,600 from melting temperature and 4,000 from meltdown or explosion. So what I'll do is I'll shut it off and actually cycle to another reactor. And that's the beauty of this thing. Doing a tutorial on this is really not easy, but because this is Lua programming, it is much easier. There we go. It's much easier to do this programming for anybody that's ever done JavaScript or any kind of general like programming C++. Lua's going to feel real easy to you. It's pretty much the same thing. We got if EVT is equal to timer and K is equal to timer1, then timer1 equals .os start timer refresh, and that's going to update the readings for the reactor. That's what gives us our nice little flashings. But anyway, I do apologize. Ranting and raving because I'm tired and I talk when I'm tired. I do apologize again for offending anyone or upsetting anyone. This is Mr. Simple Majority signing off.